The latest big Nintendo Switch release from Nintendo is of course a Wii U port of Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze, which released on the Wii U. And I played it to death on the Wii U. I actually beat it on the Wii U, and it was a super enjoyable game. But this was a sort of game that I felt like I didn't really need to double purchase it. I'd played it to death on the Wii U a couple years ago. I enjoyed it. It was a great game, but it didn't seem like Nintendo really added in anything to warrant a second purchase of this game. So you guys know, I'm not going to pick up Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze on the Switch. It's not something I'm really interested in because what's the point? I've already played this game before. So yeah, honestly, I'm just going to stick with my Wii U version of the game. This isn't Wii U. This is Switch. Hey yo, look out down below. Here he comes, Banana Slammer. Look, I'm weak. I know that you guys, if I didn't pick this up and I didn't talk about this game, you guys would be in the comments like, where's the Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze Switch video? So I just went ahead and picked it up. But now that I've played this game and now that I've had time to compare it to the Wii U version of the game, I figured it would be cool to make a video seeing if it's worth the upgrade. If you own the Wii U version of the game and still play your Wii U, should you pick up Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze on the Nintendo Switch? That's what we're going to explore in this video, so sit back, relax, make sure you subscribe to the channel, and let's talk about Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze on the Nintendo Switch.
Hey, RGT 85. Hey, Sean.
Oh my God, it's Stevie Richards!
Alright, so if you have not played Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze on the Wii U, let's catch you up to speed of what's going on. Basically, the game starts out and Donkey Kong is having a birthday party. And right before he blows out the candles, here comes this bad guy who puts a tropical freeze, pun intended, on the island. And now Donkey Kong must find out what is going on and defeat enemies. Look, this isn't God of War. This isn't, you know, the Legend of Zelda games. This isn't Uncharted. You're not getting a deep narrative with this game. It is a Donkey Kong game. It is simply a catalyst for you to explore these 6 different worlds and explore different levels and find out what's going on within these levels. Now, of course, the gameplay is why you would play a Donkey Kong 2D side-scroller, and I'm pleased to say that the game is fantastic. Whether you're playing it on the Wii U or the Nintendo Switch, just a really enjoyable game. Donkey Kong himself controls very fluidly, and of course there are friends to go along with your adventure. You have Diddy Kong, who has a slight hover ability, Dixie Kong, who has a sort of a double jump, and Cranky Kong, who has like a pogo stick, who could get across, you know, certain areas without getting damaged. So it works really well. Of course, you'll find the barrels within the levels, and all of the levels are very beautifully crafted. You know, there's a lot of hidden things within the levels besides just the Kong letters that you have to acquire. Of course, there's puzzle pieces. Of course, there's hidden things, hidden treasure troves where you can get more lives and whatnot. There's bonus levels. There's a ton of stuff in this game. The game is definitely not skimpy when it comes to content. You're getting a good value out of it. Definitely more stuff than in Kirby. And I know a lot of people were kind of wondering, you know, how this game compares to Kirby in terms of difficulty. Now, if you've never played Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze, let me tell you guys, this game is not an easy game. It's very, very challenging. I remember being very frustrated at times with the Wii U version of the game because the difficulty is just pretty strong, but it's not because of like unfair things. It's just you have to sort of memorize things. You have to memorize enemy patterns, when to jump, like the minecart levels, which are some of the best vehicle levels in a Donkey Kong game. I absolutely love the minecart levels in this game, but they require pinpoint jumping and pinpoint precision, so you have to sort of learn the layouts of the levels. Now, thankfully, there's lots of checkpoints within the levels, so as long as you have lives and things like that, you're gonna be okay. But it's very challenging. I wouldn't say it's frustrating, but it's a good challenge. It's like, okay, get good, you know, get good at this game and play it and enjoy it. Now, of course, the big addition in the Nintendo Switch version of this game was the inclusion of what many thought would just be a simple easy mode by adding in Funky Kong. And Funky Kong basically brings to the table all of the abilities of the side characters like Dixie Kong, Diddy Kong, and Cranky Kong, but puts them into one character. So you pretty much have all of those abilities at your hand. If you get to a spike pit or something, you could just pretty much jump into it and Funky Kong will stand on his surfboard and you won't get hit. So a lot of people were just like, oh, this is just like the kids mode for the game. But as you start to play the game, you start to realize it's not really that cut and dry. Of course, Funky Kong can stay underwater longer so you don't drown, and he has more hit points, but there's still the segments of the levels where it's based on jumping and platforming, and Funky Kong, while he does help with that, sometimes it's not really that obvious. You know, I wouldn't say it's a definite super easy mode for the game when you're playing as Funky Kong. It just allows you to enjoy the levels a bit more because you have more health and things like that. It definitely makes the game a lot easier, but I wouldn't say it's something akin to Kirby. You know, I never really felt any sort of challenge with Kirby, and even in Funky Kong mode in Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze, there was still a bit of a challenge. But what I really like about Funky Kong mode is playing as Donkey Kong. So when you start up your game, you can basically pick whether you want to access Funky Kong mode or normal mode. I did Funky Kong mode, and when I chose Funky Kong mode, it said I could play as Donkey Kong or Funky Kong. I'm saying Kong a lot in this video. Billy Mitchell, holler at me. But when you play as Donkey Kong in Funky Kong mode, you have a little bit extra health, and there's more health items within the levels, but the platforming and everything and the enemy layout is still the exact same. So that actually was my favorite way to play the game, because you still have the challenge of the normal mode and you don't have all of the super abilities of Funky Kong, but you still have more health points and more health pickups that you can find throughout the level, along with one-ups and stuff like that. So I actually really liked playing the game as Donkey Kong in Funky Kong mode. I felt that was sort of the perfect balance to where it's not a tough as nails platformer and you could sort of enjoy the game more. You're not stressing out about lives and level layout and things like that. You can enjoy the game, you don't have to play it super hardcore, and you can really take in the levels and how everything looks, because this game is gorgeous. Like, whether you're playing it on the Wii U or the Switch, I think this game looks phenomenal. It was one of the best looking games on the Wii U, and it still looks great. They upped the resolution to 1080p, 60 frames per second when in docked mode, and it just looks fantastic. It looks great in handheld mode as well. Just a really mind-blowing game, and there's lots of intricacies. There's lots of things going on in the background of the level. Donkey Kong himself, his fur is like, each little strand has its own little thing, you know, its own little texture to it. It's a really good looking game. The music in the game is really well done as well, and of course the levels are really creative. There's lots of hidden things, like I said. The boss battles are really fun. There's hidden levels within the levels and the worlds to explore, so you're gonna have a lot of time spent with this game. Another improvement over the Wii U version of the game that's in the Switch version of the game is the loading times. The loading times on the Wii U version of Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze were absolutely atrocious. It was like you would wait like a full minute for the level to load, and in this game it's about 15 to 20 seconds, so about, you know, half, a little more than half. So that's really cool in my opinion. It definitely makes it a more streamlined game, because when you're playing it in handheld mode, you're probably out in public and you're not wanting to have, you know, to wait for the game to load an exorbitantly amount of time. You just want to jump into the game, and that really allows it. But the question remains, the big question is it worth upgrading if you own the Wii U version of the game? Because let's face it, the Wii U version of the game, when it came out originally, was $50. The Nintendo Switch version of the game is $60. You do have Funky Kong mode, you do have a slight boost in graphics, you do have lesser load times, but as far as actual content is concerned, more levels, more things to do, it's the exact same game as the Wii U version of the game. If you own the Wii U version of the game and you own a Wii U, I really don't see the point in buying this unless you really want to play this game portably. There's not really much of a point to buy it. If you're a huge Donkey Kong fan, you're gonna buy this game anyway, so it really doesn't matter. But if you're just a mild Donkey Kong fan and you still have your Wii U and you still have your Wii U version of the game, then it's not really worth it in my opinion. Especially if you own a Wii U and you own a Switch and you don't have it on either, you could pick up the Wii U version of the game for like 20 bucks, and that's a lot cheaper than $60. You could buy another Switch game with that and still get Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze. However, if you only own a Nintendo Switch, I think this is kind of a no-brainer, honestly. You might want to wait for a price drop or trade in some games to your local GameStop or your local game store to knock down the price if the $60 kind of bothers you. But it's a fantastic game. I mean, it's definitely a game worth $60. It looks great. It plays great. It sounds great. The inclusion of Funky Kong sort of makes it a little bit easier for newcomers to the series, but you could sort of switch that up and play as Donkey Kong in Funky Kong mode, and and still get a really good challenge. It's one of the best 2D platformers of recent memory and just a really fantastic game. So I do love the game. It's just me personally, if I didn't have a YouTube channel and I didn't like reviewing games for you guys, I probably wouldn't have picked it up because I still own it on the Wii U. My Wii U is still accessible and I still play my Wii U. But for everyone else, just new Switch owners, you're gonna love this game. It's fantastic, it's a great game, and I definitely recommend you check it out. So those are my thoughts on Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze for the Nintendo Switch. If you're a diehard Wii U fan, you still play your Wii U all the time, not really worth the upgrade. Everyone else though, all those new 15 million plus Switch owners, actually it's like 18 million now, you're gonna have a really good time with this game. So thank you guys for checking out this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know in the comment section down below if you picked up Tropical Freeze either on the Wii U or the Switch, what you think of the game, and if you're only getting it on the Switch, if you're looking forward to playing it. And thank you for checking out this video. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications. I do all sorts of videos on this channel. There's a lot more reviews coming out this month. Good Lord, my May is very stacked. If you really enjoyed it, check out all the links in the description box down below. We got Patreon, t-shirts, social media, all sorts of ways to keep up to date with the world of RGT 85. And I know you have a question if you're an RGT 85 diehard, if you made it to the end of this video. Did I cut my hair? What's going on with my hair? No, I just have it pulled back. I'll catch you guys on the next video. Later.
RGT 85. RGT 85. RGT 85.